Hey friends, it's Steph. So I've made a little bit of progress on our kitchen. The first thing I got finished was the flooring, and I just if y'all think about those old floors that just they were gray with some white speckling through them. They were mostly tiled, but obviously I'm not going to try to make this tiled. So this is what I did. It warped on me really badly, so I had to do the other side. So always remember, whatever you do to foam core board on one side, you got to do to the other if it involves a water base like paint or something, because it will warp. I even tried sticking it under something heavy to flatten it out. Did not work. So I just went ahead and painted the other side, and it did perfect. So this will be our floor. This will be our back wall, our wall with the door and window and stove, and then this will be the side that butts up to the living room. So I did find my pictures that I had printed previously. I'll show y'all. This is what my printer's doing. I mean, it just looks a mess. It's all greens and yellow tones. I don't know why. But so this is our back kitchen wall and the side. There's not much here, and honestly, where I've cut ours off, it's going to be much shorter than that. So we'll just have the stove and the window dressing on this wall, the door with the window dressing there as well. So I did finish this wall, and here it is. Now, when I first did it, the door was crooked, y'all know. I have decided my new goal is to measure once, measure twice, cut once. Is that how that goes? So I've just decided I'm tired of redoing things, so I'm really going to work on my measuring skills, including when I buy things. So there we go. All right, so I've got the window installed. I painted them both white. Got the door installed. Because I had to fix it because it was crooked, and I thought about y'all for a briefest moment leaving it, and I thought, I don't know. My daughter came down and looked at it. The first thing she said was, "Mom, the door's crooked." I was like, okay, I'm gonna fix that. It had taken out a little bit of the foam core here, so it was visible. So all I did was take some of my spackle and cover that in, and once I paint it, you won't be able to tell that there was anything there. So got the door done. I'm going to do a doorknob, window treatment here, curtains over here, and I think I have a shade there, so I'm going to do a little shade. And of course figure out how to make the stove. So this part of this wall is going to butt up right next to, let me see if y'all can see, I'm sorry. I'll do it like that. This back wall, okay, which is going to be cabinetry. All right, so what I have decided to do, I sketched out, very rudimentary sketching, I might add, the cabinets that I need. And so we've got two cabinets on this side. We've got a double cabinet above the refrigerator goes here, two cabinets here. This is under cabinet space onto this counter here. They each have two drawers, two cabinets, and then the refrigerator will fit right here. And let me see what I did with the fridge. Y'all, I had it out the last time and lost it. And then it took me forever to find it again. And now, oh, here it is. Okay. So here's our fridge. And this is one I believe I got off of Temu. And actually I didn't think it was going to work. But if y'all recall, the refrigerator in Lucy's apartment was rather short. It is not like a 6-foot tall fridge, because whenever she would get into it, it really was a kind of a tiny fridge. So I looked up the average size of a fridge, and they were about 5 feet tall, and this one is just right. So when I went to do my measurements now, it is a little bit shorter than what would show here. And what I may do is just lower these cabinets a little bit so that it fits a little better. And I'll show you why I'm saying that. Because when you look at the picture, there's not as much space between the fridge and the cabinet. But I may just leave it. And we could set something on top of the fridge. The mixer could sit on top of the fridge, or a stack of bowls or something. So I'm not going to stress about that too much. So what I have decided to do is I'm going to cut this piece here out, and it is going to be the only part of the wall that's attached on that side over there. This is all going to be one set here, like it'll just be all attached together so that I can just hang it up. I'm going to have bracing here so that they can all attach to each other, and will be able to just slide it in and out as like one wall unit. Behind this, I'm going to have paper for the because they have wallpaper on all of this, and so I'm going to do that. I don't know if y'all can see it in this picture, but if you look right back here, the behind these, the mixer and the bowls, behind the fridge, and on this section is all wallpapered. So I'm going to just use like a cereal box or something there, but it's going to have to go back a little bit so that the refrigerator can be a little bit recessed. So I'm still working on all the how I'm going to do it. And so, but it's getting there. I'm getting to the point where I can go ahead and start building those cabinets. So this will be the wall that takes me the most time. But I have been thinking about it, and y'all know sometimes I just have to think things through before I start making them. Here is another angle of the kitchen, and you see here is the sink and everything. And so I have made the sink part, the cabinetry. Now this is not attached just yet. So I've gotten this part. So the very back is just large popsicle sticks glued on top of each other and cut down to size. The sides are just little pieces of basswood that I cut. And then same for these. I did this from a little stick that I had. Y'all remember those? Like, they look, I don't know if they're vents or what they are, but they were always on cabinetry in kitchens back in the 50s. And then I have two drawer fronts, which will have handles on there, handles on the doors. These two doors open out to each other, and then this was a third door. Obviously these doors are not going to open. They are just for show. So, and you see that's a little crooked there, but I'm not going to stress about that, because what's going to happen is I'm going to paint this all one color. And so it will all blend together and is not going to be a huge noticeable thing. Okay, so I've got that part. Now in my wood pieces, because I bought this in a package of wood, and it came, excuse me for reaching, but like I had bigger pieces, small pieces. It just came with a variety of size pieces of wood in it. And I do believe I picked it up at Hobby Lobby. The regular price was like $6.99, but I think it was like on 40% off when I purchased it, so it wasn't too expensive. But this very thin, you can see that is just like paper thin piece came in it. It was just one piece. There was not more than one. But I thought it would be perfect, and this one cut a little crooked, so this side is going to go to the back, because again, once it's painted, you won't see that little bitty gap there. So I got the sink part cut out. I did not cut the way I wanted it to, but it's going to be okay. I'm going to make it work. I have one of these little sauce containers. I believe this one's from McDonald's. The girls brought it to me. I was going to use a Chick-fil-A sauce container, but I don't know if y'all have looked at one lately, but instead of just being a rectangle shape, it's got three sides, and then this like is a triangle shape there. I don't know why they do that. And so I thought, well, I'll get a Sonic sauce container. They were the same way. So I just resorted to using this. Now, this will glue underneath here. Once it's painted, I'm going to paint the countertop white. So all of that's going to blend. You're not going to be able to tell that I cut it a little crooked, but it was hard to measure that inside. So that's how it ended up. So we'll see how it does. If nothing else, I can always redo that part. So I'm not stressing too much about it. I have a piece of, I don't know what I did with it, but just like cereal box stuff, chipboard. It's a little thinner than cereal box, but I feel like if this doesn't work, I can always make a countertop out of this. So, or I have more wood. So this piece of wood would work fine. I just have to cut it. The hard part with this wood, because this is a pretty firm piece of wood, a little thick, about 1/8 inch thick, would be cutting out that kitchen sink. So that's why I'm trying not to use this, and why I really was excited when I saw that this little thin piece was there, because it was so simple to cut. Now, I don't know if you can see inside of this, but I have started painting wood glue inside of this container. Now what the wood glue will do is it will give it, once I get enough layers in there, it will give it a porcelain look to it. So that's the look I'm going for in there. And so I'm hoping that it'll fill in some of those ridges, because it does have little, whoops, little ridges on it, which, I mean, I just couldn't do anything about it. If this doesn't work, I already have a plan B, y'all. I'm just going to build a little wooden sink, fill in the corners with my wood putty, you know, so that it looks like a oval, rounded kind of sink on the edges, because obviously sinks don't have perfect 90-degree angles. So I'll do that, and then I'll just paint it. So I do have a plan B if this doesn't work out, because right now I'm questioning this. I also have, I found a little gear, and these were one, I hauled these from Temu. It was a big pack of gears that I had, and I felt like this would be a perfect drain. So I'll punch a hole here, and I do have an eyelet punch. It just punches a hole for setting eyelets on clothes, and so this will punch my hole in my sink, in the bottom of the sink, and then I'll glue this underneath it so that you can't see the gear type things on the edges there. So not too worried about that. I thought I had some eyelets, and really an eyelet would be perfect to drop down in there too, but I couldn't find them anywhere. So they're probably in my sewing stuff somewhere that I've packed away. Because you might remember I used to sew professionally, and then when I stopped, I kind of packed everything away, and I just sew bears now, so I don't do too much clothing sewing anymore. So the eyelets are probably packed away in some of my supplies for my sewing. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to let this glue dry, and as I build up those layers, they will smooth out a little bit. I just used a paintbrush to paint it on, and I just have this wood glue, y'all, from the dollar store. I think this was $1.25 for this. Just wood glue, and it works just fine. I know some people use wood glue for everything that they make in their dolls' houses. I haven't really experimented with it any. I just know that it worked to make this porcelain type finish, so I thought, well, I'll get it out and try it. So that's what I did. So I'm going to do this. This will go onto the floor. I'm going to have to glue it on the floor because y'all know it's not going to be attached to the other wall. But I'll show y'all. Let me take you off of the tripod, and I will go show you how it will fit itself onto the by the wall for the kitchen. So here's our back wall. I do think I'm going to repaint this just a tad lighter. It is just very, very bright yellow, and I think it's just a little too deep of a yellow, and I really want more of a pastel yellow. And then I've decided I'm going to do the kitchen cabinets in a very pastel light blue. I think that'll look pretty. I think it'll look well with this darker shade of blue here, and then the light yellow. I just think it'll look pretty together because pastels were very popular in the 50s, so I think that that will look well. Now remember, we have our little lip here for the floor, so the floor will be here. So this will, let me see if I can do this while I'm holding the camera. It will fit right up under there on the floor. Fits just perfect. And if you remember, they had just a little bitty metal trash can that sat over here to the side of the kitchen sink in the episode where little Ricky's playing the drums all the time, and she starts doing the beat to the trash can while she's throwing eggshells away, and that'll fit perfectly right there. So there's where we're going with that. And I think it fits really nicely. I think this is going to be good. I need to fill in this little issue right here on these corners, but I will fix all of that and touch up the paint because the door is really splotchy, so it just needs a new paint job. But that is the goal for this kitchen sink, and I think it's doing okay. I really like it. It came together fairly quickly. I did do measurements, obviously, and cutting the wood is a little tedious, but I just recommend you start with a sharp X-Acto knife. Make sure that you utilize a nice metal ruler. These work best because not only do you have more control over it, but when you're cutting with this, you can hold it and it stays in place and gives you, let me get my X-Acto knife. It gives you a nice thing to butt up against your X-Acto knife. And so it is just sturdier, so there's less chance that you're going to slip and cut yourself, because trust me, it will happen. So just always be very cautious when you're cutting. Make sure that you're not being distracted while you're trying to do it, so that you're always safe with this. And so that's what I do, because y'all, trust me, if I'm going to get hurt, I'm going to get hurt crafting. I promise you. So I am always just try to be super aware of what I'm doing and how things are going, because I don't want to cut myself with an X-Acto knife. I have sewn through my finger before, but yeah, that wasn't fun either. So I don't want to do that. So after the glue dries on the sink, I'm going to finish it up, punch the hole in it, put the drain on, and then I'm going to glue it to the underneath of the countertop. And then that will glue on there, and then I'm going to paint the whole thing. I'm pretty sure I'm just going to do it all one color, because I just think that that's how they would have done it, and I think it'll look fine. So I'm super excited to finish that. This came together super quick. Again, I just did my measurements, and I did do this to make sure I was getting the right size. So I went with just kind of I did look up an average kitchen height, and of course divided that by 12, and that's how I got what I was going to do with my cabinetry and everything. And if you'll see on my little drawing here, I did write how big they are going to be. So they're going to be 3 inches by 3.5 inches. The depth, I believe, what did I do for my depth? I believe I did 3 inches on this too. Let me see. No, I did 2 inches, a little over 2 inches for the this part of the cabinet is just a little over 2 inches. So that's how the same will be for the back wall cabinet unit. And I'm just going to call it a unit because it's all going to be attached together to each other so that I can get it where it needs to be. I'm going to do like what I did with the living room, and where I just cut a little extra piece of foam core to attach to the back part of the floor, and then the cabinetry will sit on top of that, but it'll be attached to this flooring. I'll just glue it there and I'll tape it underneath so that it's sturdy, and that'll just be something to hold the cabinetry. Otherwise the cabinetry is going to sit on the back of the floor, and I don't want that. I want it to be up level with everything else, so to try to avoid problems with that. One last thing, I still have yet to find the scrapbook paper I want. I've been looking online. I've looked on Amazon, I looked on Michaels, I looked at Hobby Lobby. I'm going to the big city this next Friday, so I may just stop in at Michael's or Hobby Lobby and just see what I can see in person, because I know what I'm looking for, but I don't know how to describe it online. It's hard to see on here, but this is kind of like a geometric pattern, and in the colored pictures, it is a green. So I'm thinking maybe of going with a green, but I don't know, since I've decided to do the cabinetry light blue. Because you see in the museum part, everything is all the same color. The walls, the cabinetry, everything's the same. And I kind of just want it to look a little different. But not 100% settled yet. So tell me what you think in the comments. Do you think I should do the walls and the cabinetry all the same color? Should I go with the light yellow for everything, or should I go with the light blue and the yellow for the walls? Let me know what you think on that. So that's the progress I've made this past week, and I'm still working on this sink, because I hope to finish that today and get that glued together so that I have that finished. And start planning out the cabinet unit. That's my next big project, because I am putting off building the stove, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm going to just do the stove out of wood. That is the easiest thing I can think of because I can round the edges with my sandpaper. I think that will be easy enough to do. And I think that, once it's all glued together, again, it's not a functioning piece. It's just a look at. So if you're looking at it, I possibly might experiment with the wood glue on it to try to give it that porcelain look and just see where we go from there. I don't know. I may just paint it white and go over it with a gloss Mod Podge so that it looks like it's a metal stove. So I'll see. This fridge too, because it is wood, it is kind of matte. It is a little shiny, but not too much. So we'll see what I'm going to do with that. I am going to make these silver instead of gold. I don't think they would have had gold fixture things in the 50s, so I'm not going to do that. I also have to figure out my drawer pulls and the kitchen cabinet knobs, but other than that, there's not that much that goes into this kitchen, so I'm super excited to get it going and get this cabinetry done, because once that part's done, it's just going to be a matter of painting, decorating, and getting the stove done. So let me know what you all think about the progress I made this week. If you have any ideas of ways that I can make it a little bit better, please tell me, and give me your ideas of what you think about the paint colors. So all right, friends, that is it for this week. I will get that going, and I will see you next week. So thanks for watching. If you like the content, if you want to see the end result of this Lucy apartment of the living room and the kitchen, please like and subscribe, and we'll have more fun things. I have a great project coming up after we finish this one. I've already got it all planned out because, my brain just goes, y'all, and it has 12 things in it at once. So, but I've definitely got the next project ready to go, and I'm super excited for it. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you soon. Bye.